just turn around. You ready? Good. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken Higdon, President and CEO of the Corsicana and Navarro County Chamber of Commerce. And we appreciate everyone coming out tonight. We have we actually have 5 candidates tonight, 4 that are running in a race that as opposed to each other. So we're excited about having all of them here. I will tell you, Navarro County has got a lot of elections. Almost every school district, every city, community, and even the college has a race. So as voters, please do your homework, and this is one way we can do it here in Corsicana, so we're excited about that. I'd like Miss Barbara Kelly to come up and say a blessing on us, because Lord knows we need it.
Yes, we do. Amen.
Thank you. Most gracious Father, God, we thank you, God, for today, God. We ask, Lord, that you would just bless us in this setting, Lord. We ask that you would guide each candidate, continue to watch over our city, continue to give guidance to our local government, our current mayor, Mike Fletcher, our city manager, Jim Hogerson, and our entire city council, Will Jones, Shayla Johnson, Chris Woolsey, and Jeff Smith. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, I'm going to get out of the way and hand it over to Miss Carrie Donica, who's going to give you an overview of what we're going to do tonight, and then address questions to the candidates. We do have pencils and paper back there if you have a question. We had a lot come in off the internet when we asked for questions from the community. So we have lots of questions, but if you have one, feel free to fill it out, and Aaron back there or one of our ambassadors will be glad to take it from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. My name's Carrie Donica. I'm one of the ones that's blessed to be on the ballot and be unopposed. Well, I don't think anybody wants my job, okay? Which is okay. And so I have the privilege, Charlotte Allen and I, for 1,000 years, maybe 1,002, have done this candidates forum, and we love doing it because we're so blessed with people in our community that want to serve. And so today we're going to start off with our candidates for Precinct 4 council member. We have our incumbent Jeff Smith and then Mr. Les Leskoven, who are the candidates for this office. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give them 3 minutes each to introduce themselves. Then we're going to start with questions. They're going to go back and forth. They're going to rotate. 2 of our council members just walked in. Welcome, Will Jones and Shayla Johnson. They are not running this time, so they're going to be here to throw popcorn and such. Will, maybe, not Shayla. She's much too sweet for that. I'm going to ask, again, if you have a question, send it up. If you hear your question isn't asked, it's either because it was too similar to another question or because it was not a question that needed to be asked. There's just some questions we're not going to ask. We're not going to turn this into something other than what it is, which is an opportunity for you to get to know these good people that are willing to serve you as a council member in this case. All right, so that's how we're going to roll. Charlotte told me to, Charlotte runs everything. Oh, and she told me to be sure that I'll let you know that for a lot of years, right? For a lot of years, yeah. Okay? But she wanted to be sure you knew where the restrooms are. Right out this back door here you'll see them. It says restrooms. So, not that hard. Okay.
And I forgot to mention that we are live videoing, and then we'll have that also posted later.
So, you'll be able to watch it live here, and then you'll be able to go watch it later at home. Doesn't that sound fun? I can hardly wait. Okay, so we're going to get started like that. So let me introduce to you our candidates, Mr. Jeff Smith and Mr. Les Leskoven. One of them's going to go first, and then one of them's going to go last. That's scriptural, y'all. We're going to start off and let them introduce themselves. We're going to have 3 minutes each to introduce themselves. and then we'll go to the questions. Thanks for being here, and those of you that are live too, or listening, whatever it is. Hit it, baby.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. My name is Jeff Smith, and I have been married to my wife, Denna, for 28 years this October 25th. I know that, but she don't. She never remembers the anniversaries. We have a blended family of 4 kids and 9 grandkids, that most of which we raised here in Corsicana. I am a 92 graduate of Tarleton State University, and every year I give a scholarship out, self-funded, to a child that's graduating in Navarre County that's going to Tarleton State. I've had my real estate license for 25 years here locally, and with Corsicana being a smaller type area, the real estate agents here have to be well-versed in residential, commercial, and land development. Actually, of all the agents in this county, I am the only accredited land consultant in the area, in this county, that is basically a master's in land real estate. I think that has been very beneficial to me in my capacity here since I've been here. In the last 8 years since I've been here, I have been part of, not directly, but in part responsible for $194 million in investments and 195 jobs. We have the Ulta, the Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx, and Academy, and many more developments are coming to this precinct, my precinct, or our precinct, in the coming future, near future. I was directly responsible for getting the bridge on Dobbins, where the creek is. For years, kids had to get off of the sidewalk, get into the road, right in the bend, which is the fastest place for cars to drive. And now, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we have a bridge now that I tried to get for 6 years, and we finally got it, so now our kids are safe, and people running after them, they're jogging or running or whatever, they're a lot safer also. I was directly responsible for getting a Century Park on Oakline Park. We do have a 5.5-year-old autistic grandson, and that Century Park has been a great thing for him and all of the autistic child kids in Corsicana and Navarre County. I am seeking my 5th term precinct 4 council to see the things that I do directly or indirectly part of responsible for to fruition. I think right now Corsicana is primed for a lot of growth that most citizens have been looking for years. I think it's here and it's coming, and with my experience, I think I would like to stay a little bit longer to make sure that we have good growth and not too much of anything that would not be good for our town.
Thank you, Jeff. Leslie Scovin.
Okay. Now? Well, good evening, everyone. Tell you a little bit about myself personally. I grew up in Waco, where I attended Waco Public Schools and graduated from Baylor with a BBA in economics. I also have several advanced certifications from the Southwestern Graduate School of Banking at SMU. My family moved to Corsicana from Longview 27 years ago when I started a job at Community National Bank and Trust. Karen and I have a wonderful blended family of 4 children and 5 grandchildren. I retired from the bank in 2021 and have filled my time with numerous volunteer and church activities in addition to being on the bank's board of directors. I believe Corsicana is on the cusp of change, and if elected, I plan to be a positive force. We have a new city manager, Jim Holgerson, who can bring his broad range and many years of experience to benefit the city. I'm already encouraged by the progress he has made in such a short time. I have watched cities of similar size and demographics in Texas grow, while until very recently, Corsicana remained stagnant. A change in city council membership is essential to craft a plan for continued growth and development. I believe I have the heart of a servant leader. I have a sincere empathy for people and feel the need to help others, as many have helped me along my way. I've been a community volunteer since I moved to Corsicana 27 years ago. I was on the original city committee for the comprehensive plan and have been on the Main Street Board. Currently, I am past president and current secretary of the Navarro County Boys and Girls Club. I served 2 terms as president of United Way, where we raise $350,000 each year. I'm also on the board of Wade Wellness Services, which helps families and youth with legal matters. I'm a board member of the Navarro Community Foundation and also the Administrative Council Chair at First Methodist Church. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all be sure your sound on your phones is turned off, please. All right, let's hit some questions. Guys, y'all ready? Jeff, the first question for you. All right, come on, I know y'all know how to turn your phones off. Help me, help me, help me. Send Shayla around to pick them up. Teach it. Jeff, based upon your experience, why do you think you're the best candidate? Based on your experience, why do you think you're the best candidate?
Well, as I mentioned in my intro, my experience in real estate has been greatly beneficial. I actually helped negotiate the purchase of the Texas Youth Commission, and I actually got another $150,000 off when I requested a remediation on a small area that needed some work to be done. Also, the second year I was here, a gentleman came in to get a phone tower on his property, and everybody was ready to approve it, and I said, well, hang on a minute. I said, is there any way, Mr. Telephone Company, that you can push this to the back of this property without jeopardizing your operation? He said, no problem at all. And I said, well, I'd like to make an amendment to that motion and move that tower to the back so that the owner of the property still has frontage on Highway 287, does not take away from his value, and he still could do something more valuable with that property. It's those things and those decisions that I think makes me the best candidate.
Thank you, Jeff. Les, based upon your experience, why do you think you're the best candidate?
Well, I've been a volunteer in the community for many, many years, and I've watched Corsicana not grow as it should. You know, we're in a prime location. This place should be a boom town. And so I'm the candidate for change. I have banking experience. I'm on the board of the Methodist Children's Home in Waco, which has a $32 million annual budget. So I'm familiar with budgeting, and we review that monthly. So it's important to know that the taxpayers' funds are being used appropriately. I have a number of other ideas that may be the answers to some following questions. So Precinct 4, I'm just asking for your vote, and I think it's time for a change, and many people have told me that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to switch order on this one. So Les, you're first up. When one business, and I'm just reading these questions, when one business opens, it seems another business closes. How can Corsicana promote small business and economic development? You want me to read it again?
Yes.
Okay. When one business opens, it seems another business closes. So how can Corsicana promote small business and economic development?
Well, I believe the Main Street program is a big advocate of small businesses. You know, that something along those lines could be expanded across the city. I do think when one business opens, another closes, we have too many businesses of the same type. We have too many discount stores and that sort of thing, which really we're overrun with. So I think economic development, visit with Mr. Boswell and Amy Tidwell and see what can be done to better support small businesses and have more come here. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. Jeff Smith, same question. When one business opens, it seems another business closes. So how can Corsicana promote small business and economic development?
Okay. When one business opens and one business closes, that purely has nothing to do with Corsicana. That's economy. That's all there is to it. And I can tell you right now that next week, I believe on the 14th, we're going to be looking at something that I have been part of. I don't want to say I'm the main person, which I'm not, but we're looking at 2 subdivisions coming in and potentially 856 rooftops. When you get that many rooftops that are approved, then you start getting more manufacturing facilities, industrial companies looking, then you get more retail looking. It all follows, you know, it's the chicken before the egg, it's the rooftops. When the rooftops come, everything else is going to go. For anything else closing, other than for COVID, it's just pure economy.
Thank you. Next question, Jeff, you'll be first on this one. Describe your relationships with the city manager and the economic development director. Describe your relationships with the city manager and the economic development director. I don't know why those are one question, but you can separate them or put them together however you want to do it.
Well, I think everything in the city goes hand in hand with like that. John Boswell, the economic developer, has been here longer, so I've seen him work more. I think he and I have a great relationship with my experience in real estate and his vast experience in development and real estate. I think we work real well together. At the same time, when we brought Jim Holgerson in as the interim, it wasn't very long before I started hearing rumblings, and I was the one that initiated asking Jim if he wanted to stay permanent for a minimum of 2 years and hopefully more than that. And that was, I believe, the first 5-0 vote the council had to hire him full-time. And then, in fact, I was the one that was asked to even negotiate salary. So I think I've been very experienced in this position, and I think I would like to continue for a little bit longer to see the great things happen.
Thank you, Jeff. And last, the same question. Describe your relationship with the city manager and the economic development director.
Okay. I've only recently met with Jim Holgerson. I've met with him 3 times, also met with him with John Boswell, and I've been very encouraged by what they both have to say about our city's needs. You know, things that have been neglected for many years. It's time to put those in place. And they both agree with me. We need a new city comprehensive plan. We need a strategic plan. We need, Jim calls it code compliance, but we need more staff for that to clean up our town. Road improvements have been long delayed. So I would like to see how we can improve that and put them back on a fast track, because many of them are very delayed. But outside of those meetings, I have no personal relationship with either one of them.
Thank you, Les. It's your turn to go first, and this is a good little parlay right into this question. What are your Corsicana city budget priorities? What are your Corsicana city budget priorities?
Well, first, to maintain the city's operations so that we can be profitable. And then 2, to allot some funds for economic development. We need higher paying jobs and that sort of thing. We need to make sure that the taxpayer funds are being used wisely. And just more transparency. That's one thing that the citizens are clamoring for, more transparency. And I've seen Jim already make some of those changes. So I think sharing with the public more information, asking their input on what their needs are and what they believe their taxpayer money should be spent on.
Thank you. Jeff, same question. What are your Corsicana city budget priorities?
My top priority when looking to find out when the taxes come in is to, since I've been on city council, we have increased the fire and police by 51%, and we're now again down $10,000 compared to the adjoining cities that we have competition with. One of my first goals is going to try to get a $12,500 across-the-board raise to all civil service. We are fully staffed with fire, And with the growth that we're experiencing, we have opportunity now, being fully staffed, that we can go for a grant. It's called a SAFER grant. If we get that SAFER grant and it's approved and we have the money to do it, the first year is paid by the government. The second year is paid 75%, then 50%, 25%. So by the fourth and fifth year, we should have adjusted enough to be able to handle the new people that are coming in. And that is one of my top priorities, is the safety. As far as roads are concerned, everybody knows what our soil is. You know, and me being in land real estate, we know exactly how the soil, when it's dry, it shrinks, and when it's wet, it expands. As far as the roads, we got permission from the citizens in 2007 to sell bonds. But the only way that we can actually get the list of items done that we want to do on those roads is for those bonds to actually sell and collect the money that we need to get those jobs done. And it is a long process for that, because the size town that we have and what we can offer, the bonds aren't being gathered up and sold as quickly as we would like.
Thank you, Jeff. This one's for you first, Jeff. What areas can taxpayer money be saved? How will you take accountability? I'm going to repeat it. In what areas can taxpayer money be saved? How will you take accountability?
I feel like at this time that our budget is very thin. Last time I talked to Terry Franks, I believe we were 50-plus short in utility workers. I don't think there's anywhere to save anywhere in our budget right now. And we're 7 short on police. I would take anything that's over and try to get the police filled up, and try to get all of our employees filled up so we can do the job that the citizens want us to do.
Thank you, Jeff. Les, same question. In what areas can taxpayer money be saved, and how will you take accountability?
Well, I would agree with Jeff that the city does maintain a fairly lean budget. You know, talking about the bonds for roads, that passed in 2007. You know, bonds could have been issued at much lower rates than they are today. Construction costs have skyrocketed. Just for example, like the new fire station that was supposed to be completed in 2009 was not completed until September 21. West Collins Street, 2011 to 2015. So I think there has been some lack of planning to get these projects done. You know, there's been a lot of talk about them. However, for many years, they're still years behind. North 24th Street was supposed to be done in, I think, 2011. It was done in 2016. But outside of that, I think if we can grow our tax base, we can increase the city's budget through collection of ad valorem taxes. So that's the primary thing that I think we need to do, is find revenue sources so that we can increase the city's budget to take better care of projects that need to be completed.
Thank you, Les. Next question for you, Les. What do you see are the greatest city infrastructure needs? What do you see are the greatest city infrastructure needs?
Okay, I think there are many. The city doesn't have a current comprehensive land plan, so that one is over 20 years old. The streets, as I've mentioned before, improvements are years and years behind. Could you repeat the question again?
You bet. Yeah. What do you see are the greatest city infrastructure needs?
Well, I believe everyone would agree it's streets and drainage. You know, the city currently does not have any drainage projects underway. And you know what happens when it rains here. So when we have these street improvements, we need drainage improvements also.
Thank you, Les. Jeff, same question to you. What do you see are the city's greatest infrastructure needs?
Well, Corsicana is an old town. It's a boom town. The infrastructure that we've got currently right now, I was actually just talking to Terry Franks today. 20 miles from Navarre Mills to here, to our water treatment plant. That line is currently about 50 to 55 years old. If to replace it right now, just the materials alone is going to be $53 million. We have an unfunded mandate coming up when we get to 13 million gallons of water used a day through the state or through FEMA or through TCEQ, that we have to do a second treatment plant. That's about $70 million. And then every year we have to try to budget 1 to 2, maybe 3 major infrastructure leaks that we have on the old lines that we have because we don't have the money to replace everything. And each one of those has been, in my experience here the last 8 years, has been anywhere from $250,000 to $750,000. So there's a lot of decisions that need to be made on the fly, and we have to keep enough reserves to handle some things like that. The deal on 24th, it taking so long, took a while to get the bond sold, but then you've got every single different utility company that you have to look at. You have to move the water, have to use the gas, cable, telephone lines, and all that. And then if it rains, you have to wait until all those companies can get back together on the same line. It just takes a lot longer to get things done than what you actually know.
Thank you, Jeff. Next question, you're going to lead us off. With more, I'm going to read it and then see if you need me to read it again. With more people coming
You
from...
did say last question, right?
Do I? No. Not yet. Don't get carried away with, well, it is getting close, actually. With more people coming from DFW to live in Corsicana and Navarre County, how can we ensure enough water supply, water treatment, and police fire protection? With more people coming from DFW to live in Corsicana and Navarre County, how can we ensure enough water supply, water treatment, and police fire protection?
Well, don't limit the question because there's a lot more people coming from everywhere in the United States here, not just DFW. We have lots of water. We have lots of water to provide. We have 20% of the superior rights to Richland Chambers Lake, which means that if Richland Chambers ever got used up, we get the last 20%. So we were taken care of by Jim Gill when he was mayor. Can you repeat the question again? So I have something else to say.
With more people coming from all over the world, let's just change it, to live in Corsicana and Navarre County, how can we ensure enough water supply, water treatment, and police fire protection?
Well, it's the things that I mentioned before. The fire is a safer grant. The police, we have to get the raises in order to get more people here, in order to get more police officers here to handle all that. And as far as the other infrastructure, that is a case-by-case basis because of the lines we have to repair and fix on a daily basis, and the new stuff coming in that we have to maintain in another about 10 or 12 years.
Thank you. Same question for you, Les. With more people coming to live in Corsicana and Navarre County, how can we ensure enough water supply, water treatment, and police fire protection?
Okay, well, I believe Jeff has addressed the water situation, so I have nothing to add to that. However, as far as fire and police protection, I understand our fire department is fully employed right now. As far as police officers go, I understand we are 7 down and more will be retiring. I think one way to solve that problem is to increase their wages or their salaries. I've compared Corsicana's salaries to Ennis's salaries, and they pay much better than we pay our officers. So if we want more officers, we need to pay more. If you compare the steps going out 3 or 4 years, the differences are egregious. So I think that's one thing that definitely needs to be addressed.
Thank you. And then I guess this is going to be the last question. So y'all do it quickly, all right? Let's do 1 minute on this one, all right? Because I want to give you a minute to wrap up. So, Les, you're first on this one. How would you ensure underrepresented voices are heard? I've got lots more questions. We could just stay all night if y'all want to.
We could.
But I'm skipping to that
I've got
one,
lots of
'cause
answers, too.
Good. How would you ensure underrepresented voices are heard?
Well, I think we need to have more community forums, more town halls. You know, the citizens have made their voices heard, that they're not being heard. You know, too many decisions have been made without public input. And so I think if we will invite the public to speak at town halls, meetings at the library, MLK Center, or wherever, that's how we can make sure these voices are represented. And currently, I believe they are underrepresented. One thing that I think would help is that some cities have neighborhood policing. I think that's one thing that would be excellent for Corsicana to have, because you build relationships with the citizens, they get to know the police, they can give you input on what their problems or concerns are, and I think that would be a wonderful idea to undertake.
Thank you. And Jeff, same question. How would you ensure underrepresented voices are heard?
Well, I think Les is right. I agree with him on town halls. I actually have held 3 town halls during my tenure here. The last one, Chris Woolsey and I did together, was for planning and zoning and planning and zoning and permit process. Out of that meeting came a committee that's being created to help streamline, and it's fixing to come through. It's going to streamline, and we're having new software. It's going to streamline the applications and the planning and zoning, and we've got new software that's going to help everybody. And I have, on that committee, I put in an electrician, and just responded to an email today that I got on that committee, and I'm looking to put in a plumber and a HVAC person also on that committee.
Thank you. And I rushed it a little, y'all. We have a little bit more time, so I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. Y'all don't get all excited. We've got a couple more. Jeff, this one's first for you. How would you work with fellow members who don't share your views? How would you work with fellow members, and I'm assuming we mean other members of the council, who don't share your views?
I negotiate for a living. So it is not, I come into the entire situation knowing it's not my way or the highway, that we have to come to the middle, we have to meet. There's going to be give and take with everybody, and I think if you come in with that approach, you're more likely to get a positive result out of that, instead of going in saying this is the way it's going to be and you get no results at all.
Thank you, Jeff. Les, same question. How would you work with fellow members who don't share your views?
Well, I believe listening is more important than talking. I'm open to others' opinions and learning what I don't know, and I will have plenty to learn, believe me. I have always valued constructive criticism in my work and personal life and reacted positively to it. Once all the facts are known about an issue, compromise is sometimes necessary to build a consensus. The City Council is a nonpartisan position, and I don't believe national politics or a member's political views or personal views should influence the council's decision on any matter. Disagreements on the council or with citizens should be handled in a professional manner.
Thank you. I think you've already, some of these, I think you've already answered in other ways.
But we still got to wrap up, and that's 30 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. We got time for one more. Well, here's one. Let's try this one. Les, will you investigate why our tax dollars are used for buying and holding of real estate properties? Will you investigate why tax dollars are used for the buying and holding of real estate properties?
Well, I will, and Darwin Myers was nice enough to reply to an email I sent him, but I believe the properties that the city has purchased, there was no market for them. There was no urgency to buy those properties. The building across the street, the Vera Bank drive-through, I had heard that the plans for that had been abandoned, but Darwin told me that it will be converted to utility assistance. However, there's no timeline for that. You know, the Daily Sun building, there was absolutely no market for that building. it didn't need to be bought at this time, so that some of that money could have been used for other purposes. I also understand the city owns some buildings that it's leasing. Those need to be released to the public for ad valorem taxes.
All right, thank you. Jeff, will you investigate why our tax dollars are used for the buying and holding of real estate properties?
Well, I already know. And I agree with Les, because Les, I voted against both of those purchases. I'm not so far against across the street here, because we are busting out the seams with utility, planning and zoning, and a couple other human resources. We need an extra room. As far as the Daily Sun building, I didn't want it. But now that we have it, my idea is to keep the property from the building to the west, to the east where the farmer's market is, expand the farmer's market, sell that building up to the railroad track where it's at, use that money to increase the facility in that area. As far as where the brewery is and timbers and all that, I never wanted to keep it, okay? I think now we have a situation set up that it's always good when the city can buy dilapidated properties, when somebody may not be able to buy the property, do all the infrastructure and get it done. I'm not for the city doing that unless it helps somebody out, and I would like to see that sold to the people that are in the buildings.
Thank you for that. All right, super job, guys. Thank you so much for your willingness to serve. Now I'm going to ask you to take 2 minutes and wrap up. I can't remember who's supposed to go first.
Me.
Okay, thank you.
He gets the last word.
Jeff Smith is going to go first and wrap up why he's running.
I'm running to see the things that I have been a part of either initiating or involved in getting here come through fruition. Ever since I got on 8 years ago, I tried to get a PR person. Now we have Jim in line, and we have a PR person. I've been trying to get more transparency. All the things that the strategic plan, the comprehensive, everything we're trying to do, we've been talking about that for the last 6 months or so. So I would like to see the things that I have helped put in place through fruition. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you, Jeff Smith and Mr. Les Lescoven. Same, give us a little
Say
wrap
again,
up
please.
on why,
Oh.
just a little wrap up and on
Sure.
why people should vote for you.
Well, I believe in change. I think change is needed. Many of the things that we've talked about have not been taken care of by the current council, some council members of which have served multiple terms. So it's a little late to be addressing these problems in a press release today. These should have been undertaken years ago. So those are my primary suggestions. Comprehensive plan, strategic plan. If you want to see how a city is run, look at Ennis's website. And I know communication, Amy Tidwell is going to be communication director, but she has a full-time job. And there's too much to be done for her to take that on in addition to her Main Street activities.
Thank you, Les. Thanks. Let's thank both of these gentlemen, Jeff Smith and Les Lescoven. Thank you, guys. Now, Chris Woolsey is on the ballot, and Chris is going to just give us, while we get our mayoral candidates, we trade out candidates. Our precinct 4 candidates did a super job, and I've asked Chris Woolsey just to briefly say hey and tell him that why he's running again, even though he doesn't have an opponent, but why he's running again.
Well, I can do that. I asked for
Mayor
30
Kennedy,
seconds.
y'all come on up.
Carrie said that she was going to yield me her 30 seconds since she's
Yes,
also
I
in the
did.
same boat. But thank y'all for coming tonight. Thank y'all for listening to our candidates who are running for Precinct 4 and Precinct 3. I am the only person up here tonight who's not asking for your vote. So I do not need that this go around. I'm thankful for that. officially got into city council 6 years ago now. I was upset about property taxes, and I said, someone needs to do something. And then I found myself on city council. I realized, oh, I now have to do the thing that I said I was going to do. And so, my whole thing was I went door to door. I asked people what they wanted to see done, and that's how I set my priorities. And so, I like the things that we've seen that the city's accomplished in the past couple of years. I think we're on a good track for growth. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to work with Jim. A lot of things that you see getting accomplished here in the past few months, these are things that we tried to get done for months, and there was just a stone wall. And then when Jim came in, it just opened up, and we've seen a tremendous amount of change. And so I'm excited to get a couple more years with Jim and see what he can do in our city, and continue working on the economic development that we're working on, continue working on the infrastructure improvements that we're working on, and doing everything that we can to make Corsicana a great place to raise a family, a great place to retire. I came here because I wanted a place to raise a family. I brought my parents here because I wanted somewhere they could retire with me. And so I want a place where I can have kids grow up and live here for their whole lives and not have to mess with the big city. So that's why I wanted to be here and why I want to keep living here and make it a better place to be. So, Carrie, I will yield the floor to you. You still have.
Thank you, Chris. Well, and I see also in the room is Judge Cody Beecham, who's also on the ballot. Cody, did you want to say anything or just wave at the crowd?
No, I'm honored to be trusted with a very judge. If there's anything you think the court can do better, Carrie knows this because we see each other every court date. We're big on communication and transparency. I know that some of the other city departments have gotten some flack, but I think we're very proud of the fact that we try to be open and transparent. And I can't always promise I'm going to make a decision you like, but I'll at least stand there and tell you to your face why I made it. So, but anyway, if you have anything, logistics-wise that we can improve, we're all ears. So, I'm from Corsicana, and honestly, it is a huge honor to get to be the judge. I guess at 10 years in, I should quit having imposter syndrome, but I do. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Beecham. Also saw our elected district attorney, Mr. Will Thompson, here. So, Will, thank you for being here to hear these candidates. I appreciate it very much. We also have some other elected officials here. Jamie Putman, who's on the school board, is back here. We've got some of our city employees that are here, some of our department heads, people who really care about. We have our former amazing state rep, Mr. Byron Cook, is here. So I appreciate all these people that are willing to serve. I don't miss anybody. And y'all thank Aaron Johnson on the way out. This dude is a worker that he's made this all. He's helped make all this happen. So y'all thank him for his willingness to serve this community through the chamber as well. Okay, let's meet some mayoral candidates. Y'all ready, guys?
Ready.
Ma'am.
All right. I know we decided that I think Mr. Joe Hill is going to lead us off and introduce himself to us before we begin the questions, and then Mr. Charles Donahoe will follow him. All right, let's roll, gentlemen. You ready?
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Hill, and I'm glad to be one of your candidates for mayor. I'm a 34-year veteran of the U.S. Navy, and when I was 17 and a half, I enlisted in the Navy and found out all about communications and getting along with other people. When you're in a bay on a destroyer and you're number 2 from the bottom, you learn to communicate with people, not to people, and you get used to varying backgrounds and the value that comes from dealing with other folks. Several years later, as a pay grade E4 and a senior at SMU, I applied for the quota for enlisted people to go to officer candidate school, and I was pleased to be able to do that, and I graduated that May from SMU, and then that November, I graduated from Officer Candidate School and had the Battalion Leadership Award, and became an 01, starting all over from the bottom again. Following commissioning, I did the first of 2 tours in Vietnam, and from that, I went to various commands, and my last job was I was in charge of a Navy base on the island of Sicily, and there I was like a mayor in that I had a police department and a fire department and public works, maintained schools and hospitals and security for the base. I also had an airport that was there and a seaport, and we became the logistics center for Operation Desert Storm and Desert Shield. In the civilian world, I worked for the Union Oil Company of California and traveled across the United States and internationally, speaking about the products that they made for the new world machine tool, the electric discharge machine, and that goes to show you how long ago that was. And as I traveled, I also did seminars and other speaking engagements for the Society of Manufacturing Engineers. Following my retirement, further, I did have opportunity to work in a number of different, for FEMA and for other different civilian activities.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. And Charles Donahoe?
Good evening. I'm Charles Donahoe, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking your time out to come and hear us tonight. It means more than you think. I've been knocking doors, and it's different. So to see somebody come to actually hear us is greatly appreciated. I was born in Corsicana, Texas, and I was raised in Wortham. I graduated from Wortham. I came to Navarro on scholarship, and I graduated Navarro. After Navarro, I left and served for a while, not near as much as Mr. Hill, which I am very proud that he did that. When I got back from that, I went back into the service industry, and I've been an EMT, a paramedic, a firefighter, and I worked my way up through school. I now own Hometown Medical Associates here in downtown Corsicana. I have a staff of 5 that we started from the ground up, and they are building with us. And I have another nurse practitioner that works with me. I'm married to Miss Alyssa Donahoe, who is here with me tonight. We've been married almost 10 years, and we have 4 children, and we have 2 grandchildren with us, and one that is no longer with us, and she's in heaven. I love Corsicana. I've always loved Corsicana. I could have settled anywhere with the degrees that I had. I could work anywhere. I've chose Corsicana. I've chose to open my business here so I can better my family and I can see a better future for my grandchildren. Corsicana's done great by me. I cannot say enough about this city, but we still have room for improvement, and I want to help be that improvement. I don't want it just for my grandchildren. I want everyone's children, grandchildren's great-grandchildren. I want to continue to see this city build itself and be better than it was the day before, the week before, the year before. We can all do that together, but it's going to take a lot of work by each and every one of us. I'm glad to be one of your mayor candidates, and I'm definitely glad to see all the faces out here. Some I know, some I do not know, and I greatly appreciate you being here. If there's some questions that are not asked tonight and you have questions, please, I would love to answer them. I'm available by phone, I'm available by email, I'm available by Facebook. I have several events that I'm going to be hosting, so you can come and ask questions there if you don't get it answered here, or you can have somebody that you know spread the news to them. But thank you guys for hosting us tonight. It is greatly appreciated. I'm honored and I'm humbled to be here in front of you tonight.
Thank you, sir. All right. Let's start off with the questions. Mr. Hill, we'll start you off first. Based upon your experience, why do you think you're the best candidate? Based upon your experience, why do you think you're the best candidate?
Mainly because I've done this before. When I was in charge of the air station on Sicily, I had 5,500 employees and a budget of $110 million per year. And we had every service that the city would offer, and I was doing that with a base built in the late 1930s by the German Air Force. But we had a good working relationship with the people. I always reached out. I believe in communications. I feel that once people understand the mission or what the requirement is, and given a chance to have a voice in some final decisions. I understand about working with budgets. There has to be priorities with budgets, remembering that this was not the Navy's money, this was the American taxpayers' money, my money including. So communications became very, very real in dealing with people while meeting the missions set forth by our country.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Donahoe, same question. Based on your experience, why do you think you're the best candidate?
The first reason I feel I'm the best candidate is I have a servant's heart. When I first started the business with Alyssa, I told her when my time was gone, I wanted people in this town to know me as a person who cared about the people of this town. I've been allowed to go places that they say you can't go and speak. I've been allowed to talk to people they say you can't go and speak to. I work with the football team here in town, and I travel. I want to serve. That's why I'm here. Why am I the best candidate? As I said earlier, at Open Hometown Medical Associates, I have not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 bosses, and they are all females. So I have to have excellent communication skills. Nothing is ever cut and dry. Just because I write the checks doesn't mean I make the rules. So I've learned through just this business, if nothing else, that it takes compromise in everything that you do. And we need a leader that will compromise. I know in the past there's been a lot of mistrust between the citizens and between the fire department and EMS, the police department. I am currently endorsed by the Navarre County Firefighters Association. I'm endorsed by the Corsicana Firefighters Union, and I have almost 100% of the police officers that are behind me. I come from that background, so I already have that. I can use my ability, being from that background, to help repair those relationships. By repairing those, that is a big fix for the city. We keep going from there. We can continue to make positive change with every other entity in this town, including each and every citizen. I think communication is key. I think have open forums. I think challenging city council members to join me and have open forums and see what our people want, listen to our people, not just whenever we have council meetings, but let's go to the community. Let's ask the people what they want. I've done that. I've proven that. I'll continue to prove that, and I'll challenge the city council members to do that with me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This one's for you first. What is your vision for Corsicana's future in the next 5 years? What is your vision for Corsicana's future in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, we need to start looking to the next 50. 5 years is a nice plan. Everybody has a 1 month plan, a 6 month plan, a year plan, 5 year, 10. We need to keep going on and on because sooner or later, we're not going to be here. We need to start looking at infrastructure. Our councilman talked about it earlier, where we're at, where we're going to have to be, the money it's going to take to do that. We have to start planning 10 years ago. So we're behind the 8 ball. So we have to get this infrastructure fixed. We have to get our fire and police on board with everybody else around us, or we're not going to have those services. We can't continue to be 7 officers down. And we just have to get more equality within our groups. And we have to get the citizens to step out and say what they want. We have to get more citizens to be involved.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. And then for you, Joe, what is your vision for Corsicana's future in the next 5 years? Your vision for Corsicana in the next 5 years?
I was so very pleased to learn that Jim is going to lead us, along with John, in a new 15-year plan. In the steps of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, that gives us a strategic highway. Then all we need to do at that point is to plug in with tactical issues that plug those holes that leads to those important areas. And we need those things so we can have a target to shoot at and have some specific things. I've always believed that planning is the basis of your activity, and if you do good, solid planning, that can be arranged. I'm pleased to know that we may be started on that new plan as early as next month, but I encourage all of you to watch media because those meetings will be open to the public and you'll be able to participate. And I know that the new mayor and the new council persons will enjoy being a part of that. They may bring some fresh ideas to the table. And from my background with budgets, that's where it all starts and where it needs to be. So I'm excited to see that come along.
Thank you, Joe. Next question. And Joe, you'll go first. What are your Corsicana city budget priorities? What are your Corsicana city budget priorities?
I would like to see with the new budgets that a emphasis being made for people to participate and to be able to tell the new council what their thoughts are. I certainly am joined by the comments that we need to do things with our roads and so forth and so on. And my experience using the 20 or 30-year formula for a road, for example, in Sicily, a 20-year road would last 80 years because you're pouring right on rock. However, with Texas' good old moving, constantly shifting sands, that 20-year plan may get you a road that will last for 7 or 8, and then you have to start looking at maintenance issues. So I would certainly evaluate that because that our roads, because that drives everything else, sewer, utilities, and so forth. So I would put that pretty high on my list.
Thank you, sir. Charles, same question. What are your Corsicana city budget priorities?
So after walking and talking to citizens, when I first started, I had a list of things that I thought Corsicana needed to do. And as soon as I started walking, I found out that my list was nothing compared to what everybody wanted. And I've had 6 bullet points, but I have listened to the citizens. I've personally knocked on over 1,000 doors here in Corsicana, and I will keep knocking on doors and hopefully see each and every one of you at your front door. But my first 3 things that I have heard and listened to the people is the infrastructure. They want things fixed. It's going to take a budget to fix that. We're going to have to work on that. We're not going to fix every road. We're not going to fix every street. We're not going to fix every pothole. It's impossible to do. We just have to work to get there. Second is public safety. We have to ensure that our city is safe. Not just our streets. We have to help the school and work with the school district. We have to work with the county. We have to hold parents accountable. We have to hold these children accountable. We have to have public safety. Without public safety, we're not going to bring new people here. No one's going to want to come to a high-crime city. We have to work on our public safety. That's number 2. Number 3 is the economic development. I made a mistake of saying the bypass and or the loop, and I was quickly corrected that we do not have a loop. We have a bypass. With economic development, there's a lot of land between 7th and those loops. as I call them, as most people say, bypass. We need to start developing those. And I told my wife a while back, it's like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. We have the bypasses, the business will come. We have to make sure infrastructure is there. We have to make sure safety is there so we can attract companies and bring more people to our area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This one will be for you first. In what areas can taxpayer money be saved, and how will you take accountability? In what areas can taxpayer money be saved, and how will you take accountability?
So we started transparency, and that's been my thing since day one. I want to be transparent with anyone about anything that I do, anything council does, anything our city manager does, or anyone that is elected. We need transparency. How will we work on that? Can you repeat it one more time so I don't
You
miss
bet.
any of it?
In what areas can taxpayer money be saved, and how will you take accountability?
The first transparency part, the budget is online, but it is a 290-page budget. I will not lie, I've not looked at all 290 pages. You have to have a master's degree in accounting. Once elected mayor, yes, I will. The answer to that right now is, I don't know. We have to look at it. We have to get city council members to look at it with me and say, explain it to me, teach me, what am I missing? How can I help make this budget better? Are there things we can cut? Maybe, but we don't need to micromanage. We need to let the people that are heads of those departments, we need to hold them accountable. If we're buying stuff, can we buy from a different vendor that has a cheaper cost but same quality? That's where we can start. We can't just go cut budgets. We can't step in and do that. We have to hold our managers for all of our departments accountable for their departments. So we need to look at restructuring contracts maybe. We need to look at having different vendors give us different bids instead of just taking the first one that comes through or the best one that we think comes through. I'll challenge all city council members with me to hold all of our people accountable.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you, Joe. What areas can taxpayer money be saved? In what areas can taxpayer money be saved? And how will you take accountability?
I agree that transparency has to be the key, and we have to look at our budget and admit that priorities may have shifted and that our monies must follow new priorities. As far as the amount of the budget, in my brief scanning, it appears to me that the budget is well placed. I don't know of any place that we can cut. We've identified places that we definitely need to expand our tax base so that we can provide more monies in places such as fire and police. And I would recommend that everyone take a look, be a part of the planning sessions that are coming up, and let us hear from you as to places that you would like to see more emphasis placed.
Thank you, sir. Then this next question, you'll go first. What do you see are the greatest city infrastructure needs? What do you see as the greatest city infrastructure needs?
I would see making sure that all of the activities that we have are of value to all sections of the city. I'm a firm believer that a rising tide lifts all boats, and so we need to make sure that as we're evaluating priorities, that we look at what benefits the city as a whole.
Thank you, sir. And same question to you. Charles, what do you see are the greatest city infrastructure needs?
Right now, our greatest infrastructure is going to be water and sewer. Councilman talked about that earlier as well. We're not at capacity yet, but there are plans for 800 rooftops. Are we going to be able to sustain 800 rooftops? Maybe, maybe not. We can't wait to find out if we can't do it, because once they're built, we're going to have to do it. We have to look at our water, our sewer. We have to start planning for that, like I said earlier, years ago. We're behind the 8 ball. We've got to keep playing, and we've got to keep moving forward with that. Second are the roads. Every door that I've knocked on wants better roads. We can work on that. We can't fix every road, not in the next 2 years, I can promise you that, but we can sure start trying. Next are utilities. I currently live downtown, and if you've been downtown anytime soon, you see they're working on utilities now, and it's a mess. So we need to focus on those 3 things with our public works. Some of it we can do, some of it we may have to contract. We have a lot of contractors in town now. So we've got to keep going forward with that to try to improve our overall infrastructure. Part of the big infrastructure is the water, the sewer, and the roads. Other parts of that are housing. And we have the Corsicana Beautification Committee now. And we have the new zoning and planning, not zoning planning, I apologize. We have they go around and look for violations. That is now under Chief Johnson. We have to start actually holding people accountable for their properties. We need to clean this town up. That's going to be a big part of Corsicana. We have to get it clean as well. But water, sewer, and roads are the biggest thing I hear, and we need to focus on those.
Thank you, sir. And next question, we're going to start with you. Describe your relationship with the city manager and economic development director, your relationships with the city manager and the economic development director.
So I've only met our city manager a few times. I've met and talked with him. I think we have kind of the same belief. We need to have some transparency. And I think transparency with him goes a little further than just saying the word transparency. I think he's willing to get out in front of the public and answer the questions that people want to have answered, not just the ones that he wants to answer. And economic development, and I don't know him very well. I've started going to several of the meetings. I've been to many in the past, but not enough. So I'm learning and talking to him personally. I think we have a good enough relationship that we can keep pushing forward, because part of the mayor's job is to assist. A mayor's has to have a servant's heart, and they have to work with every group. He has a tough job. His biggest part of the job is bringing new industry, bringing developments here to town. And he can always use a wingman for that. So I'm looking forward to working with him. I'm looking forward to working with the city manager and letting him do his job. He's the city manager. He manages the city. We don't need a mayor and city council that micromanages him. We need to let our officials that we have hired and get paid to take care of the city, we need to let them take care of the city.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you. Joe, describe your relationships with the city manager and the economic development director.
I've been a close friend with John Boswell ever since I moved here 8 years ago, and I've followed him very closely in the things that he's been working on. We've talked about every aspect of it. We've talked about the best way to deal with prospects, how to handle them, and we have gone in depth to the various levels that knowing that we are in a very competitive position here with the East Coast and the West Coast emptying into Texas, you have to be very aggressive and look at every possible way to appeal. I asked him even the hard question. I asked about tax abatement, and he assured me, and on the people that I've seen him work with, that was the very last thing that is offered. We lead with a great town with good people that want to work, good schools, good parks and rec, and things that makes Corsicana attractive. I have enjoyed some good conversation with Jim. We look very much down the same prism, and I feel that I can work very closely with Jim. He and I agree that my job would be to go out and talk to the people. A nice office comes with the job, but all 26,000 of you won't fit in there. So I've got to go out and knock on doors and find out what the will of the people is and report that back to Jim so that that can be a part of his formula. I look forward to working with him. I think he's a jewel. We've been very fortunate to get both these guys, as a matter of fact.
Thank you, sir. All right, Joe, this will be first for you. How important is it to meet with other government entities such as the school district, the county commissioners, the college board?
I found that to be very interesting when I broached that first with the sheriff. He broke into a big smile and said, "You know, nobody's ever come in to talk to me about what I'm doing over here." And of course, HM has been sidelined with a bad shoulder, so I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to him. But reaching out to the college, reaching out to the school district, I'm a big believer in education. That's the reason I went out and brought in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Program, which now has over 1,000 kids getting free books each month. And I would like to reach out to the school district and encouraging them to not only stay with encouraging people to graduate from high school, number one, but then to go to college. But I also equally would like to see emphasis placed on trades, because there are excellent incomes, and by the time they get through the trades apprentices, they don't have this enormous loan to pay off. They can go in and make good money originally. So there's reaching out is important. We are the center of city of the my Louisiana background with parishes, with the county, and let's see if there are areas of cooperation where we can actually save some money by not overriding each other on the same issue.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you, Charles. How important is it to you to meet with other government entities such as the school district, county commissioners, college board?
Thank you for that question. That is actually one of the issues on my list. I have not seen that before, and I have personally said that I wanted to make it, if elected mayor, I want to make it my personal pet peeve. I would love to see the school board, the county, the city, and the college school board meet at least once a quarter. Why? So we can communicate. We have a wealth of knowledge in this city. We don't share it. So we need to start sharing that with each other. We all live here. Do we all go to college? No. Do we all go to high school? No. Do we all know someone in college or in this high school? I guarantee everyone in this room does. We need to have all these entities come together at least once a quarter. We can all meet once a quarter and find out what each other are doing. We might can help each other. We might know where other people can get grants or where other groups can get grants, and help each other communicate. The key thing is communication, and for years we have not had that. We've never had a group willing to step forward and do that. I personally know enough people from being a graduate at Navarro and from working with the high school long enough. I personally know enough people on both boards that I guarantee you I can have those come to a meeting if I'm elected mayor. And we just got to keep building. Communication, communication, communication. If we get that, this city will change for the positive a lot quicker than we've ever imagined. Without it, we're gonna keep progressing, but we're gonna go really, really slow. So communication with all of those entities is very important, and that's one of my personal things once elected mayor.
Thank you, sir. We have one here that's been asked by somebody here, but also asked previously, so I'm gonna see if I can combine the two questions. So, considering your current commitments within the community and your personal life, how much time can you devote toward becoming a full-time mayor? I'm gonna repeat the question. Considering your current commitments within the community and personal life, how much time can you devote toward becoming a full-time mayor? And that's first to you, Charles.
Okay. So I'm willing to give, I don't know, about half hour a month, if that's enough for you guys. But seriously, our city government is not set up to have a full-time mayor. The city government is run by people who are employed by the city. We're simply a guiding force for these people that are hired. And how much time can I dedicate? I can dedicate the time that needs to be dedicated, whether that's 4 hours or whether that's 400 hours, whatever time it takes. How can I say that? It took me over 2 weeks to decide if I was going to run. The day I decided I wanted to run, my wife knew something was wrong, and I avoided it all day, and I paused the TV at night and told her. And after she was upset with me, she said she had my back. After that, we went to our parents, and we had their support. After that, we asked our children, and I got their support. After we did that, I went to my nurse practitioner that works for me. She is a full-time nurse practitioner, and she has said that she would take up the slack when I'm not able to be in the office. After that, we went to our staff, and I have the buy-in of every one of my staff members to know that there will probably be phone calls to my office. There will be people come in wanting to talk to the mayor, and we will address that as it happens. The time to be mayor is going to be the time that it needs. Hopefully, if we get things running smoother, and if we can just turn the helm of that ship just 1 inch, the Titanic wouldn't have sank. So if the new leadership can turn that helm just one bit, then that makes it a lot easier for the mayor to be even less part-time. But I'm willing to put in the time that it's going to take to make this city better than it was before I became mayor.
Thank you, sir. Joe, same question. Considering your current commitments within the community and your personal life, how much time can you devote toward becoming a full-time mayor?
I plan to work full-time at the job. I feel like we're at a unique time in our city history where we need to have all hands on deck. We want to keep that momentum going, and the only way that I can reach out to each of you and the rest of the community is by getting out of the office and going and asking the questions. And that I'm willing to do. I have made that commitment to everyone that I've spoken with, and particularly to Jim and to John. I want them to know that I'm close by, and with the cell phone, I can respond to their needs at any time. So I do plan to work full-time.
Thank you, sir. And the next question, we'll start with you. Interesting. How can Corsicana city government be more transparent? How can Corsicana city government be more transparent?
Well, I think that's one of the things that can be done by being out amongst the people. I would like to be able to, as things are developing in the office, I'd like to be able to place some of those ideas in front of the citizenry and get their reaction to it up front. And I could then probably get back to Jim and his crew as to what the feeling of the city citizens really are. So I would think that by being out and about, we get transparency from the front end, and that the people are telling us what their needs are, and then getting back to the people and letting them know what is coming, and hopefully they would have had some degree of input to that, so that it would be easier for them to accept when we're ready to spring into action.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you, Charles. How can Corsicana city government be more transparent?
That's fairly easy. Like I spoke earlier, we need the school district, we need Navarro College, we need the city to start having meetings. That's the first step. There's a lot of people that pay attention to Navarro. There's a lot of people that pay attention to the school board. There's a lot of people that pay attention to the city, but not many people pay attention to every one of them. So that's the first step. Let's get something going. Let's have that open conversation and find out what each other's doing and help each other out. Secondly, let's get out in the community. Let's don't just meet as city council for our meetings or our closed sessions. Let's get out and talk to the public. Let's have open sessions right here. Let's have open sessions at churches. Let's have open sessions anywhere, the MLK Center, the Cook Center, anywhere the public will show up. Let's do that once a quarter. Let's do that once a month, whatever it takes. Let's listen to the people. right now, I'm pretty sure that people can already let the city know what they think. They can send emails. Let's address some of those instead of just not answering them. Let's be transparent. If you have a question and it's not answered, maybe we can get that question answered. It may not be the answer you want, but just answering simple questions. We have to have communication. We have to have better communication. And by getting out in the community and talking to the citizens, we can find out what's needed, what's wanted. And there's a happy medium. It's never going to be a 100% of what you want, but if you can get part of what you need or what you want, you're going to appreciate the city better, and you're going to be willing to come to meetings. You're going to be willing to open your mouth and say things at meetings that you normally wouldn't. But if you don't have that trust, you're not going to open your mouth, you're not going to talk. So we have to show the citizens that you've elected us, we work for you, we're not hired by the city. We're here by choice, and you put us here. And we have to show that appreciation and gain that trust and keep that trust with our citizens and keep an open dialogue.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's see here. How about this? Let's ask the real estate question. So you'll go first on this one, Charles. Will you investigate why our tax dollars are used for buying and holding of real estate properties?
And yes, we need to look at that. I've had questions about that. Councilman Smith talked about that a little bit. I've had a lot of questions, and I haven't gotten answers. Did we buy low, and are we going to sell high? Then great. That's a great investment, but that needs to be looked into. If citizens have a question about that, I was one of those citizens. Why are we buying lots that are vacant? Why are we buying buildings that we're not going to use? Why are we buying places that we're going to put millions of dollars in and not get that return on investment? Why? We need an answer to that question. So is it an investigation? Investigation implies something's been done wrong. So not necessarily an investigation, but an inquiry. Why did this happen? There's nothing done wrong. Was it an investment? I invest. I know a lot of people that invest. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but you want to know why you're investing in something. And if there's not going to be a return on investment, then don't invest. It's that simple. So I don't think we need an investigation, but we do need an inquiry into why are we buying properties that we are not going to do anything with, or we are not going to turn around and use and sell for the benefit of Corsicana and the citizens of Corsicana.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Hill, same question. Will you investigate why our tax dollars are used for the buying and holding of real estate properties?
A question that all of us have asked, and I believe that one of the problems in that is that we had failed to have the long-range plan to follow and to be able to take available funds and spend them wisely. I agree with Charles that I don't believe that anything was done carelessly, but I do think that we should investigate and find out the details. And I'm not a rear view mirror kind of guy. I'm more of a windshield guy, because that's where the future is. And that's what we want to, in the future, make wise decisions with our monies. Now, if there was a good reason for the purchase of some of these questionable buildings, like the Daily Sun building, then let's be open and honest about it, and we can all share in that.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Joe, from your perspective, what are the current top challenges in our city? What are the current top challenges in our city?
Well, bringing the trust back between the people and the city government. Transparency will fix that, but right now there is a distrust, and we need to fix that. One of the things that's very encouraging to me is to see affordable housing being springing up in little patches around the city. I think that's a very constructive kind of thing. We need to pursue those.
Thank you, sir. And did he go first? Yes, you're up now. Sorry. I told y'all you'd have to help me.
It's okay.
So from your perspective, Charles, what are the current top challenges in our city?
As it's been for the last 10 years, is the transparency, which it's starting to work. It's going to work there. That is the biggest thing, the transparency and gaining the trust back. I was asked a question a while back of how do you personally are going to fix the distrust between fire, EMS, and police. That's something we have to work on. People may not realize that, but these guys see themselves as a necessary evil. They feel they're the necessary evil because you get to sleep in your bed at night safely. They're not a necessary evil. They're citizens here that pay taxes too, and we need to look after these guys. That's one of the main challenges right now is getting and retaining officers, making sure our fire department has the stuff they need. Because when you need them, you're going to need them. And if there's not enough of them, you're going to wish that we had them, and it's going to be too late when you need them. If they don't have the proper equipment, you're going to wish they did, and then you're going to be mad when they don't have that equipment. One of the tough issues is we have a set budget, and we have to stay within that budget. It's easy to say, oh, let's just give them what they want. Let's pay them what they want. Okay, sure, if everybody wants to be taxed 35% more, which no one in this room does. We have to find a way within the budget to get these guys what they need and help our city continue to grow. One of the biggest things, and I use fire and EMS, one, that's my background, and two, there's a lot of these guys. The top out pay in this town is 20 years for our officers. The average is 6 to 7. We have to change that for our officers, or we're not going to continue to keep officers in this town. We absolutely have to change that. That is not negotiable. We have to change that. But working within our budget to change these things is going to be one of the major challenges that we have right now. So it's going to be hard, but we have a lot of people in a lot of good places. We need to hold them accountable, like I stated earlier, and keep moving forward, work on the trust. With the trust, there's going to be more transparency.
Thank you, sir. And then one last question before you wrap it up, and we'll start with you, Charles. How would you ensure underrepresented voices are heard? How would you ensure underrepresented voices are heard?
For me, that's easy. I already do that. I've had my practice here for almost 8.5 years now, and I see every person that comes through that door. Race, color, creed does not matter. Money, no money, that doesn't matter. I've proven myself time and time again that the place I volunteer, the groups that I support, there's some things that I support so I can say, hey, look at me. This is what I do. This is what Hometown does. But most of the things I do in this town is because it helps people out because I'm a servant. I have a servant's heart. And it's given me the unique ability to work with every different type of person you can imagine in this town. And they're personal to me. And so I won't discuss all of them, but I work with a lot of different groups and volunteer a lot of volunteer hours that's for me, and it helps my community out. There's no place in this town that I won't go, and there's nothing that I won't say in this town, and I have no fear of doing that because I built that trust, not on the north side, not on the west side, not on the south side, not on the east side, but I built that trust in every precinct that we have. I will continue to build that trust. I will continue to volunteer and do the things that I do for myself and my family, for the business, and for the city of Corsicana.
Thank you, sir. Same question to you. Mr. Hill, how would you ensure underrepresented voices are heard?
I also feel that I have a servant's heart, and one of the things that I'm always aware of is goes back to a relationship I had with Mr. Frank Devlin of Mexico, who was the president of the International Rotary Clubs around the world. His motto was create awareness and take action. And I'd say I'd keep my sensors open in whatever area of the city that I'm in. And when I see opportunity, then I like to make a plan and I like to take action. And so I feel that all areas of our city is important, as we have the industrial east, the retail west, a very active city center. If we make our plans and execute correctly, that rising tide will lift all boats, and that's the whole goal of what we do as public services is find a way that everybody can participate and benefit from our activities.
Thank you, sir. We're going to now give each of you 2 minutes to just do a little wrap-up about why you're running and why these folks should vote for you. Joe, I'm going to let you go first, sir.
As a part of the servant's heart, I've always in my life I have either founded or co-founded a couple of dozen different things to benefit other folks. I enjoy finding a better self-image as I raise the image of other people. And we do that by conversation and letting them be a part of the process. So I'm just ready to reach out. I want to know what the needs are, and I feel like that I can work with John and with Jim in making the dreams come true for everyone.
Thank you, sir. And for you, Mr. Donahoe.
So being local, born here, raised in this area, I understand what the small city life is like. I understand what the big city's life is like because I've moved and been there. It's not for me, and see everybody in here, it's not for them or you wouldn't be here tonight. And I thank you for being here. I'm running because I want to continue to make this city better. Being here my entire life, I've volunteered numerous hours, and the volunteers in this town you could not understand. I want to continue to serve. I want to continue to lead. I have a proven track record with multiple groups, and I plan on having a proven track record if elected mayor for you guys. And I thank you guys for giving me the chance to sit up here before you and answer any questions. Like I said earlier, I greatly appreciate all the questions you've had. If you have any other questions that have not been addressed, I have email, I have a cell number, I have Facebook, and I'll be having some more meet and greets here pretty soon. I thank you all for letting me be here tonight and speak. May God bless Texas, may God bless Corsicana, and may God bless you all tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the candidates and everybody being Jamie, it's Jamie Roman. I don't know where I got Putman from. I'm sorry, Jamie. I was like, what did he say? Sorry.
On behalf of the chamber, thank you all for attending. We appreciate everyone, especially Ms. Carey, for all the wonderful moderating and asking the questions. That quick timer over there, Ms. Charla, we appreciate you. We appreciate Aaron and all the staff of the chamber and the city, because we were all involved in this. We were all partners. We appreciate everyone. Have a great evening. If you have questions, I think the candidates may stick around for a minute, but we're going to provide all the questions that were asked to all the candidates, and we'll go from there. God bless you.